Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. John Mason. I'm with Gene Golden. He is a Tai Chi master. He's been using Tai Chi for 40 years. He's been a master for 30 years. He's an instructor. He knows a lot about subtle energies and the energies of yin and yang. For you who's listening, this is very important because we believe that the energy has begun to flip, and instead of the power in the hands of a few, he wants to explain how consciousness of the masses can affect the energy change and switch from yang to yin energy for the betterment of the earth, for the survival of all of us. Gene, come on in and give us a little bit of information about this subtle energy that's not subtle if we all work together.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here, and I would like to just bring some of the concepts that have really been flying around in my own head these weeks, months, even years. But the interesting thing is, at this point, it seems to me that quantum physics is finally bearing up what I've learned from an Eastern philosophical vantage of Tai Chi Chuan, based on the Taoist principles, based on the yin-yang symbol. Quantum physicists at this point are starting to say the things we've been saying all along, that the universe has consciousness. It's got purpose, it's got direction. And the thing that's so exciting to me is the yin-yang symbol is a perfect fractal. You've got a negative energy field balanced by a positive energy field, and it's like the two poles of a battery. It creates some juice and makes things happen. But what I'd like to explain is, at this point, the dominant field, the yang energy field, which has dominated the planet since civilization began to get together and become civilized, is that the powerful have grabbed the power and basically assert their thoughts, their plans down onto basically everyone else, the masses. So if you go look at a picture of it, it would be like one of those funnels that you see when the water goes down the drain in your bathtub in reverse. You would have the little tiny end point up at the top, where the most powerful people with the most financial resources basically decide how everything's going to be and assert that energy down lower, lower, lower till it gets to where we are, which is just the individuals comprising the populations on the planet. But I think there's some pretty recognizable flaws to this whole paradigm. And basically, I feel that the paradigm has shifted. It is, something has happened and the energy source has shifted and is shifting to the other pole. And that pole works completely differently. Instead of all the resources being funneled to the few, who then basically have their will asserted upon the many, this yin energy fractal is literally being created by the consciousness and the desires of the many. And it's actually weaning out to get the best, the brightest, the finest up at the top, who might be able to actually direct all this positive energy. So to me, it's exciting beyond, I can't be contained. It is, we're at a planetary phase for 40,000 years. This has never happened. It's always the strong rule the weak. And at this point, I think consciousness has gotten to this point. And not only that, but the COVID virus itself has served to focus this consciousness and bring humanity together on the same page, all thinking, what's going to be next? What are we going to do? What's happening? How do you get 7 billion people all paying attention to the same exact timing that's taking place? And it seems to me it's facilitating an empowerment, but it's got to start at the smallest level. It's got to start with each individual's thoughts, their consciousness, and what I feel is already a spooling together of some really positive goodness, acts of kindness, caring.
So what you're asking is that people around the world begin to take back the power and put some positive thing instead of kind of like a focused negative, destroy the world for my own profit and benefit. We have to add joy, we have to have love, we have to have happiness, but we want the masses to do that, to start that spiral working and give it power. Is that correct?
That is so exactly spot on. That's exactly it. It's like in your bathtub, when you pull the drain, after a little while, you notice a couple of things, a couple of hairs or lint start swirling a little, but you give it time and that thing is a funnel all the way down with a lot of energy and a lot of power. And that's how the energy has been working and feeding everything at the bottom going up to the top. And here it's actually everything at the bottom generating for itself, not being sucked to the top, but generating for itself their needs, their desires, what they want to see the earth becoming, and then generating the people with a vision and the ability to organize and the ability to create without, oh, this is all about me gaining millions, billions, trillions. This is about me overseeing the many, not me personally, but whoever gets up there, that they're happy, that they're fulfilled. And so it's got to start with like the little things floating around the drain. At first there's no movement and then there's a little swirling. So I believe that as people begin to really, it's going to be such a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, so we're talking to people right now. What can we do to bring joy or laughter or happiness or positivity? What can we be doing and trying to encourage everyone we know and the entire planet to take back that energy? What physical things or mental things can we do that will get that spiral going for us?
That's the greatest question. That's perfect, because this is so much fun. This is so, that's exactly the question everyone has to ask themselves. And I'm not going to tell you what can we do. That's the beauty. Each one of us goes into their heart space and ask yourselves, each one of us out there, what do I feel like doing? I mean, when does anyone ever ask you, what do you want out of this life? What do you think? That's what, nobody's telling anyone what to do. You're asking yourself, what in my heart would be a good thing for me to do? Me, I like to teach Tai Chi, but we can't all do that. So if every person began to ask themselves, well, if this was a perfect world and I had that choice, what would I do to make it a better place? That's what I'm talking about. Each one of these souls achieving their personal goal and direction. And how fun would that be?
So you've told me before that fear and anger and anxiety feed the negative spiral. So for us to be in service, for us to be creative, for us to find a loving passion or a joyful act, those are the kind of things that would feed the spiral moving in the right way, provided that we're doing something that doesn't damage the earth, that is something that gives back to the earth. Is that correct?
That is correct. And there's another point that there's a balance of opposites. There's not the good opposite and the bad opposite. It's just degree. So excessive fear, anger, yeah, that's really going to drive a negative energy. But a little fear, a little anger, a little anxiety empowers. It's empowering. But, balance that with a lot of positivity and a lot of good, you've got this balance of these two energies. But if it becomes way, way out of balance and out of whack, then there's no good energy whatsoever. So my belief is, as people begin to explore and invest in the things that they feel they'd like to do, and they begin to come to fruition, it's going to draw more movement, more people like, yeah, I have things I want to do too. Let's do those things. And it's going to create a cycling, and the mass effect of all those consciousnesses being brought together, focused on the goodness and the things they want to see happen and they feel would be. I mean, you have people that want to play music, people that want to grow gardens, people that, we all need to be thinking about, what do I want? What's going to make my life a better thing? And as that spreads out, it's just going to generate goodness everywhere, because people benefit from the music, from the gardens, from the Tai Chi, and then the negativity starts being balanced, because once people can make the choice, oh, do I want to be part of that bunch doing it that way, or this bunch doing it this way? And I think it's a no-brainer. I already decided which side I'm going to be on.
So maybe we look for what good we can do and what we can offer others, rather than just comparing ourselves with the billionaires and saying, I just need to grab money. I need to focus on destroying the earth in whatever way possible so I can get ahead. You're talking about how can we be of service? How can we spread joy? How can we make people happy? How can we give back? And that's the energy that we have to be creative about. We have to have passion for it. Is that correct?
There's just millions and billions of variations. As people begin to find what makes them happy, they begin to have other happy ideas, and the world begins to be a place of much happiness, as opposed to a place of much deprivation. And, oh, if I only had what the billionaires had. Well, the trouble is, there ain't a lot. There's not enough for everyone to be one of those. So it's not a winning situation, but there is enough room for everyone on the planet to be extremely happy, have food, housing, shelter. That should not be a big press in life to have those things. Like, you're a citizen of the planet, it should be, yeah, that's your right. Food, being taken care of, supported, places to live. That can be manifested very, very easily from these acts of goodness, because anyone seeing someone without a housing will go, hey, they might really benefit from some housing. So this is really a way to end a lot of problems.
Something came to mind. How does meditation and mindfulness and being present, so that we can find in our heart how best to serve, how does that fit? Do you think that those are things that are useful for people to pursue?
Oh, boy, are they ever, because they are the intensifier of manifestation. You go, oh, I want to do some good things, and but when you meditate and you focus and you go deep within, things become empowered. They begin to connect to internal energy source. So the power of the consciousness is so underutilized. People do not know the power exists inside of them, because it's largely untapped. But as you begin to meditate, it's like a distilling process. You weed out the extraneous thoughts and the monkey chatter, the monkey mind, and you get down to, this is what I really want to do. Yeah, this matters to me. And so in Tai Chi, I've been doing moving meditation for 45 years, and it got distilled to the point where it's like, now I want to do these things. I really want to change the planet. And I think many people feel that way and would love to join in a group that already exists in the hundreds of millions to become quickly the billions, the multi-billions, everybody.
So let's wind this up for right now. So Gene, you believe that the energy is changing. Yin is now in a place where it has more power than the yang energy, which has gone on for a very long time.
It's ascendant.
And what we need to do is we need to feed that by being aware of it and by acts of kindness and generosity, creativity, love and joy and laughter. And if we can feed that, then it will find its rightful place. And the more of us will really be in a place where we have the happiness that we deserve as citizens of this world. Is that correct?
Exactly. And the energy is flipped, but it's not being fed to the degree where it can generate and create yet. There's people feeding it, but it needs more conscious, more focus. So if people could keep this idea in mind that this is the birthing of a new planet.
Okay.
Something really beautiful, but like any birthing, it comes into existence weak and needing sustenance and needing care and guidance and loving, nurturing energy. And we get to be the people who maybe create that.
Well, this is Dr. John Mason, and I'm with Gene Golden. If you want to help us and participate in the birthing of a new world, please look for the things that give you joy. Look for being of service. Look for ways that we can give back to the earth and make this place the spot that it really could be, and we wish it would be. Let's see what we can to join our energies together and be most positive. Thank you, Gene, for joining us.
Thank you, John, for having me.
Bye for now.